Hi guys, and welcome to lesson number 6 on summertime, where we are looking at flat 9 dominant 7 chords. Okay, this is just a way that I do it. Okay, I've not really seen this written in any books or any theory books. Okay, but I like it. I had a chat with a sax player friend of mine, and he does the same thing, but I found it myself, I think. And he also came up with the same thing as well. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Okay, I hope it helps you. It helps me massively because rather than thinking of a dominant 7 flat 9 chord as as an individual thing, like a E7 flat 9, F7 flat 9, A7 flat 9, C7 flat 9, you can actually think of it as diminished. And so rather than thinking of 12, because there's only 3 diminished chords or scales, then you only need to learn these things or get them in your fingers and into your playing in 3 keys, because then you can apply it to any chord once you can play a few things which will help you. These are some of these patterns which I'm going to show you in this lesson. Okay, so the regular way to think of an E7 flat 9 could be here, looking at bar 65, where we got the E, we got the G sharp, we got the B, we got the D, and the flat 9 on top. Okay, the flat 9. So the way I do it is I totally omit the E. Okay, and so think of the flat 9, the G sharp, the B, the D, the flat 9. So if I play the first one, 65, okay, but if I play the second one, then you have diminished. So there's 2 flat 9, dominant 7 flat 9 chords in summertime. And they are E7, which are only very short. So if you're concert pitch, that will be your D7, and if you're E flat pitch, that will be your B7. And the other chord is for trumpet players, or B flat, is B7 flat 9. So if you're concert pitch, that's going to be A7 flat 9. For E flat, that will be F sharp 7 flat 9. Okay, so just moving on really from what we said. If we start on the third, there you can see B7 flat 9, it becomes diminished. If I play the third, the D sharp, fifth, seventh, flat 9, and then so on. They are the notes for a B7 flat 9. This is how I think of it. Forget everything else that you've read, or I'm not saying forget it. This is just a new way, maybe a new way for you to look at it. Okay, some of you might think, oh, I don't want to do it that way. I like my way, which is fine. Okay, but for me, this way has helped me the most. Okay, so if we're looking now here at B7 flat 9, starting on the third, going up. So if you look at beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, I am playing one of those chord notes, either the third, the fifth, the seventh, or the flat 9. And all I'm doing is approaching, going up and coming down by a semitone. And I'm sure you would have heard this type of scale. Okay, and then you can just muck about with it a little bit and do things like that as well. So you can something else I sometimes do. Okay, so chord notes. I'm going to stick with one, just this chord, because this is the chord that's in summertime. Okay, so if you can really get it in one chord and start to understand what's going on, it will help as you develop, as you take this chord or this approach. Okay, so let's just have a look at the lesson plan. So lesson plan: practice the diminished chord, starting either on the flat 9 or the flat 9 dominant chord, or you could also start on the 3rd. Okay, so that's just simple. So the B7 flat 9 or the A7 flat 9 or the F sharp 7 flat 9. Just practice that up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay. Once activity 2, once you've got the hang of the diminished and understand the flat 9, then approach the diminished by a semitone going up and a semitone coming down. Okay, you can see, you can use this anytime on a flat 9 chord. It also works on a regular dominant 7 chord, okay? And here as well, I've said the advantage is there's only 3 diminished chords or scales, so you only need to learn those patterns in 3 keys. I'll show you in a minute that one. So try activity 3, try the exercises. Note that the target notes are still the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, and the flat 9. There's no tonic in there anymore. Okay, from bar 86. Let's move on to the next page. So here's the exercise. So first one, just practice that up and down, up and down. Don't just do what I've written there. You know, just do the whole, start on the 3rd, start on the flat 9, start on the 5th, start on the 7th. Okay, and there again you can see bar 79. Okay, and then I've done a couple of little riffs for you here, where just target note on the beat 1, target note on beat 3, and then we resolve into the E minor. Yeah. And then bar 84. So you can see what we're doing there. Da 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 approach, which is what we actually did in the last lesson. Yeah, so we're approaching the thirds, which is what we actually did in the last lesson. So you can see the benefit of how everything comes together. So the next 2 lines, 86 and bar 89, you can see bar beats 1, beats 3, beats 1, beats 3, beats 1, beats 3 are all notes from the B7 flat 9. Notice there's no B. The B is replaced by the flat 9, okay, which gives us the diminished. And then, so if I just play beats 1, beats 3, beats 1, you'll hear the diminished. And then if I approach with a chromatic enclosure, that's all of a sudden it sounds very boppy. Okay, the other way, bar 89. Now obviously you wouldn't play the whole thing like that, you might just, okay, and you can do your chromatic enclosures as you want to, whatever is most pleasing to your ear or what is most easy for your fingers. But by practicing those chromatic enclosures and just targeting the 3rd, the tonic, sorry, the 3rd, the flat 9, the 5th and the 7th, you are only then targeting a diminished. Think of it in diminished, because then what happens, let's just move to the lesson plan. Activity 5. So this is what we're talking about now. Each line of page 3 of the PDF represents the 4 chords that fit into one diminished scale or chord. And I've written here, this may take some time to get your head round, okay? But once you do, it becomes much easier to improvise over dominant and flat 9, dominant flat 9 chord. So let's look at page 3. So if I was to play C diminished, as I've written here, there are 3 groupings for the diminished chords, okay? So using C, also E flat, F sharp and A, I can use the chords. C diminished will work on B7, D7 flat 9, F7 flat 9 and A flat 7, okay? Okay, because it's diminished. Look, and all it's doing, if I play B7 flat 9, now if I play D7 flat 9, now if I play F7 flat 9, and then if I play A flat 7 flat 9, okay, and that's just one diminished which fits onto all that. So I can, so that chromatic enclosure exercise will work on B7 flat 9, D7 flat 9, F7 flat 9, A flat 7 flat 9, okay? And then this one, it's going to be, say, C sharp diminished, okay, but starting on the 3rd. Okay. Now I realise this can be, at first, very confusing, but basically, and then the last one, the C sharp 7 flat 9, E7 flat 9, G7 flat 9, notice they're going up in minor thirds, B, D, F, that is the notes of a diminished, okay? But each one of those, the D's, it won't be in there because that's the tonic. You need to think of it as a flat 9. So you could start on the flat 9. I started on the 3rd down at the bottom, but you could start on any of those notes. Okay. So here we go. See the last one. What you would play here is the D diminished. Yeah. Again, just going up using chromatic enclosures there. And that's that same scale again. But then if I start on, and then if I start on the next one, it becomes very symmetrical because it's all in minor thirds, okay? And as I've written here, this can take a little while to get your head around. I suggest learning thoroughly on one just flat 9 dominant chord before really trying to understand everything in one go, okay? You just got to let the dust settle a bit, have another look the next day. Let the dust settle a bit, have another look the next day. Remember, it's not enough to know what to do or the theory behind it. Oh yeah, I understand that. What you've got to do, you've just got to do it and do it and do it to get it into your playing. Okay, so just practice the scale going up, coming down. When you get to that chord on Summertime, That's what I suggest you do. Or you could also practice these couple of little riffs here, but certainly also practice the B7 or the A7 flat 9 or the F sharp 7 flat 9, the chromatic enclosures too, okay, for on summertime, along with the backing track. So make sure you can get it under your fingers. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of work here, and that's just. But once you've learnt it in that one key, once you can play it in that one key, not only so look B7 flat 9, but unknowingly you've also learnt it in D7 flat 9, F7 flat 9, A flat 7 flat 9. But you just got to get your head around how that's going to work over those other chords, and it's all to do with the flat 9, which gives it that diminished sound. Okay guys, so check this out. This is my Chet Baker book that I created. I created 2 Chet Baker books, major licks, major 251s and minor 251s, and I've done them in all the keys. So this is the minor one, which, so obviously that has the flat 9. So this is the page that features all the B7 flat 9. Okay, so look, he's already on the diminished there, diminished, that all there, because he's playing 3rd, 5th, 7 flat 9. Okay, he is playing the tonic there, but he's already sort of moved on to the E minor there. It's the same here. Ba da 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 dee da. Again, flat 9. That group there. Here, 3rd, 5th, 7th, flat 9. 3rd, da 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 da. Okay, ba da 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 da. And then he's already into the E minor there. Okay. Ba ba da da dee da. Okay, so you can see, not always, but there as well, flat 9, 7th, 5th, 3rd, ba da ba da dee, flat 9, and then he's already into the E minor there. But also, what's great about this, and we'll move on to this, I promise. You can think of the 2 in a 251 minor. You can also think of the 2 as diminished, okay, because you've got the tonic, the 5th, the 3rd, and the flat 5, which is still part of that diminished. Ba da 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 do da. So da 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 dee da 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 da. Okay, I'm digressing slightly, but I can promise you it works because it's what I use when I play my solos. Okay? Okay, so a little bit to get your head around here with this lesson, but it can really help you, okay? Especially when you're looking at those dominant 7 flat 9s. If you just think of them diminished, it could or just a scale, but still my same rules apply, where I target the 7th, the 5th, the 3rd, but also here I would target the flat 9, okay, just to keep it just and then you're learning that diminished sound, trying to get that diminished sound. So slightly different. I don't know if you've seen something like this before. I don't really remember. I might have seen something like this years ago in a gypsy jazz violin book. Now I come to think of it, where they just said, oh yeah, just think of it as diminished. And I remember it taking a long while. But I never saw, they didn't talk about targeting, they didn't talk about that scale, and they certainly didn't talk about chromatic enclosures either. So, if just think of targeting those diminished notes, flat 9 notes, and certainly try that scale, okay, as shown here on bar 71. Going up and going down. Try and get that scale into your playing, and do nothing else. Just ignore everything else. And when you get to that bar on the backing track, try and use that. Okay, and that is a good way to isolate it and really target and laser focus on what you're trying to improve. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. I'm sure you've learnt something new here, even if you don't understand it 100%. It's very tricky one to try and explain, but in a way which is easy. But I just think we'll go with a bit of a drip, drip, drip type method, and you will eventually understand it, especially when we move on to what is this thing called love. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next lesson. Bye for now.